My friends, this is going to be another video that probably offends a lot of people because it's going to challenge your worldview. And if you enjoy this content and you feel you get something, feel free to send us a tip via PayPal. The address is in the description below. Or if you shop on Amazon.com, you can click the link below. It's an affiliate link. Just click that link, then type in whatever you want to buy, and we will get a small commission, and it helps keep bringing these videos to you. Now, if you've been following this channel, you know that last year, I had a child. And since having a kid, so many things about our world have become much more clear to me. And one of the realizations that I came to in this past year was marriage is for having children. There's really no reason to get married if you don't plan on having children. It just simply doesn't make any sense to me. The point of marriage is to have children, and I see that now. And I've had some confirmation on this. There's a channel called, I'll just show it to you here, called Sensus Fidelium, which is a Catholic channel, and they uploaded this marriage series by a priest named Father Chad Rippinger. And whenever I see something uploaded by him, I click it because I really like his matter-of-fact way of speaking. So I listened to this marriage seminar that he put on, and surprise, surprise, for a guy that's never been married and doesn't have kids, he has so many insightful things to teach us about being married and having kids, what it's like, what it means to be a father and to be a husband. And he's come to many of the same conclusions as me through I'm sure his training. But what's funny is just as I've gotten older, even before having a kid, but especially since having a kid, it's amazing how many things that I've come to, realizations, and it's like, well, geez, this is what religion teaches us. I could have saved a lot of time that I've wasted off of making mistakes and then on heartbreak and things like that if I just listened to a priest or some religious dude tell me these things. But he explains, first of all, what marriage is from a Catholic standpoint, from the Catholic contract. And a Catholic marriage is one man, one woman, getting together to form a lifelong union with the primary purpose to have children. And I didn't just, after listening to this seminar, I started researching some more about Catholic marriages and the Catholic marriage contract. And I told my wife that in a Catholic marriage, according to that, the primary reason is to have children. That's why you get together. It's not really about love. That's important, but that's not the primary reason by any means. That's way, way down on the list. And this might surprise a lot of people that are not Catholic, because what a lot of people don't realize about the Catholic religion, a lot of it is about order and about logic. And I know that's shocking to a lot of people, but that also explains why Mass is so boring. People say, I don't like, including myself, I'm guilty of it, they say, I don't like going to Catholic Mass because it's boring. Well, it's not about you. It's about worshiping God. It's not there for you to have a good time. It doesn't exist for your own personal pleasure. And many things about Catholicism in general, it's about logic, order, reason. It's not about you. It's not about your personal pleasure or entertainment. But I was telling my wife the primary function is to have kids, and she said, well, does that mean that you can get together and have kids and then you can just separate after that, it's done? And it's like, well, no, there's more that goes into it, because the idea is you get together, you form a lifelong union, which means until one of you die. And the purpose is to have children, to bring souls into the world, and then to raise them right, to raise them in a godly way, and to have them, to bring these souls into the world that worship God because it pleases God. So there's that whole aspect of raising the kids, which takes decades usually, especially these days. It seems like everyone's so childish, and I'm still getting advice from my father, especially now that I'm a father. So it's a lifelong deal. And one of the reasons why love is not the primary focus to get married. People say, well, I love this person, that's why I want to get married to him. Well, if you base the marriage and your reason for getting married because you love the other person, well, what happens when that love dissolves? How many people have we heard that are divorced and they just say, male and female, you hear saying this, well, I just don't love that person anymore. So that's their reason for getting divorced. It's not really a commitment when you have that attitude, because these things, they can come and go. People do kind of. But if your primary function is to bring children into this world and then commit to raising these children right and doing what's best for them, as opposed to, well, I love this person and I guess we should get married because of that. And I know that some of this might seem contrary to what I've said in a lot of other videos, where I tell you the most important thing in life is feeling good. Well, that's generally true when it comes to many things. As I was stating before about like the Catholic belief system, is you have to remember, not everything in this universe, not everything in this world is about you. Not everything's about your personal pleasure and happiness. And when you become a parent, you start to see that, and you have to suffer for your children, you have to sacrifice for your children. It's not all about how you feel at that moment about things. There's a bigger picture. For example, even aside from being a parent, there's people that do things in this world that are good for them and it makes their lives better, but it hurts the world in a larger sense, or it hurts society. One example I can give you is our local politicians in North Dakota. Right now they're doing things that are very good for them, but they're completely going to destroy our communities. It's bad for our people, it's bad for our culture, it's bad for our communities, but for these politicians, it's great for them. So if they would step back from their own personal happiness and pleasure and their own personal feelings and look at the greater good, and if you're a parent, certainly, that's what you have to do. So keep in mind, before you're even thinking about getting married, the primary purpose is to have children, and there may be a few exceptions to this rule. One of the main ones I can think of course, is an older couple that can't have children, and maybe they just want to, say they're 50s, 60s, whatever. Maybe they want to get together and they don't want to live in sin and they want to have that lifelong partner. That's fine. And they're still part of a family structure because they still probably have kids. You should have kids by that time. You shouldn't be trying to wait till you're 50, 60 years old to have kids. So even if they're just going to be somehow a step parent somehow, they're still going to be part of that family structure and kind of at the top or at the head of it, because they're going to have children that are adults now, but they're going to be having children of their own, so you're going to have grandparents, and they're still going to be fulfilling an important role in the family. So older people, this doesn't necessarily apply to. Maybe there's a couple other examples, but in recap, in summary of this video, if you're saying, oh, I love this person, so I'm going to marry her, or oh, I don't want to lose her, so I should marry her, that kind of thinking is probably ultimately going to lead to your own unhappiness. But if you keep in mind the primary function for getting married, ultimately you're probably going to have a more fulfilled life down the line, a more happy life down the line. So keep that in mind. I know that kind of can upset a lot of people, because in our modern lovey-dovey society, we're told that this is what you got to do. But the definition of a marriage, one man, one woman, forming a lifelong union to bring children into this world and then raise those children right. And how can you disagree with that message? So before you go and make a major mistake in life, a potential major mistake, keep this in mind, and it can probably keep you from making something that's going to negatively impact the rest of your life. So until next time, my friends.